Welcome, everybody, to another week of Galactic Guidance. I am Johanna Burkhart. I am the Soul Shaman, and this Galactic Guidance weekly update is for September 10th through September 16th, 2018. I'm actually coming to you from outside. My home is currently boarded up. I live on the southern outer banks of North Carolina, and we have Hurricane Florence headed our way. And so I almost did not do today's galactic guidance, and they urged me to continue. And I actually pulled cards today just to make sure that my energy was on point and that this message was exactly what everyone needed. Because here's the thing. Our angels, our healing team, these galactic beings, they are here to support us. They are here to show us and guide us along our journey here on our way, to really support us. They're not here to save us, okay? They are here to support us and our free will and what we choose to do, okay? And I want to say that today's message is not about the East Coast. It is not about the energies and the fear that is consuming a lot of us that live on the Eastern Seaboard. The message is for the collective, and I'm going to allow them to read it through me as such, but I'm also going to bring myself into it as well, because I feel that that there is a lot on the East Coast that could really use this message as well, okay? And here's the other part about our angels and our healing team. And anyone that you choose to get a reading with or choose to have someone guide you on your journey, it's important that we know that our team, our angels, source energy, is not going to spew fear. They're not going to spew fear at you. They're going to show you where you need to focus your energy, where you need to focus your intention, your direction. And this is why we have things like divine intervention, right? We have things like alignment, everything just aligned up perfectly or worked out perfectly, or how synchronistic or how ironic, right? Everything just kind of lines up. People come to you that need to see you or you need to see. There's times when you are brought with people in your life that you deem to be a tragedy or deem to be like, why did I have to have this experience or meet this person who brought me such pain and turmoil? But in reality, it was divinely guided for you to see something, right? For you to learn something and transmute it, transform it into a lesson that forever changes your life, okay? And so sometimes these big tragedies that happen are happening for us, right? To raise the vibration collectively and really allow us to come together instead of separate, to unify, right? Because that's what we're here to do. This is what the golden age is all about. It's about Christ consciousness, and not in a church standpoint, not in a religious standpoint, okay? It is for you to be unified, right? Christ conscious is all about unity, coming together, not separating, seeing each other. I am you, you are me. Seeing yourselves in another, treating and speaking to another how you would want them to speak and treat you, okay? That's what we're all here to do. This is why we chose to come be a human. And this week's energy is perfect for that, right? When I asked, where should we as a collective, right? Collective energy, all of us collectively, where should we be focusing our energy? And the message was honor your light. Honor your light. So what does that mean? Instead of focusing on the darkness, focus on the light, right? A lot of us chose to come here to light the way for the next generation. A lot of us come here to shine light on times or situations that are in darkness, to have our light shine so bright that we pierce the darkness. We illuminate what needs to be seen, instead of staying in that low vibration of what they're trying to show us and trying to tell us it means, right? That's a lot of what the media does. The media comes in and says, look at all this dark. And so we get wrapped up and sucked down in that loop of darkness, when we really need to be illuminated and to be shown light and to elevate ourselves to see the bigger picture, see the darkness and find a way to light it up, to shine your light so bright that people can't see the darkness, because all they see is your light. You are shining so bright that you shine the way for another person. You illuminate the situation. You make it make sense, right? You allow them to feel it. You penetrate them and let them feel that situation. We are here really to bridge the gap from this low vibrational matrix of consciousness, this negative low vibration, bridging that gap to the golden age, right? Which is that unity, that higher state of consciousness, the ability to see the patterns that we are creating so that we can break them and create a new way of being. This is what a lot of us chose to come here to do. And so now we just went through this new moon, right? This transformational point, this time when we're saying it's time to break these old patterns. It's time for you to commit to a new way of being and to step foot on this path and own it and say, okay, I'm here and now I'm trusting, right? So now they wanted you to take a step and leap into faith. Commit to yourself and to the divine and to the journey, right? So they're saying, now that you're there, now that a lot of you have taken that step, and if you haven't, it's not too late. Take the step. Leap in faith. Now that you're there, honor your light. So I had to ask, okay, so great, we're there. We're honoring our light. How do we do that? So I always ask, what are some ways in which we can support our energy of focus, right? Because this isn't about the energy of which we are in. This is about the energy of where we need to focus our attention, right? Where we need to focus our energy, not on what's happening right now in this moment and how scary it can be, wherever you are in the world, but more about what do you need to be focusing on? Because what you focus on expands, okay? So what are some things that we can do? And let me tell you, normally this is just galactic beings that showed up. Today, we have a whole slew of people here with me. I have the blue ray beings that are standing behind me. I have the Pleiadians who are standing to the left of me. I have Christ and Mother Mary that are also joining me, because there's a lot of fear and scarcity going on in the world right now, and in the collective consciousness, not just on the East Coast with the approaching storm, but in the governments, in the schools, in the islands. Like, there's a lot of fear that's building, and a lot of individual fear with people who aren't even in a natural disaster or physical danger, right? But more in a fear of, okay, universe, I took this step, I leaped in faith, now what, right? And so I said, what are some things that we can do to support our energy of focus? And I pulled some cards because I really feel like sometimes we need to see, and I wanted to be sure that I wasn't allowing my own ego, my own bias by being on the East Coast affect the energy, right? So the first thing that came through, sorry, I'm outside and the humidity is what it is, was narrow pathway. And it says, tread thoughtfully, okay? So what does this mean? This means patience and mindfulness. It's not making rash decisions from a heightened emotional state. It's really sitting and thinking things through and making a decision that feels good to you. Really allowing yourself to have the patience, and it's know that this is not this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And the path has been laid, right? You laid the brick when you took the leap. And now you need to take it one step at a time. Each step needs to be methodical. It needs to be emotionally centered. And this came up today in a client session where we talked about being self-centered and how it has a negative connotation. But if you are centered, you are balanced. So self-centered, self-balancing, rooted in your being, right? How beautiful is that? So let's be self-centered in a high vibrational way. Let's be rooted in who we are, knowing that we can have the patience to take one step at a time, to think things through thoroughly, to be mindful about where we are going, and not trying to rush it or power through it, because that's not going to do anything for us. The second thing that came up was taking shelter, right? The answers are within. So what does this mean? It means to take care of yourself. This is not just about your body or your mind or your emotions. It's all three. It's the Holy Trinity, right? It's eating clean, drinking clean. That means don't medicate yourself. Don't self-sabotage and medicate yourself with, oops, sorry, hold on. There we go. Don't self-sabotage or medicate yourself to numb it away, or to when you get frustrated, right? So there's another part of the message that's coming later on, but it kind of leads into it right now, which is you can be constructive and creative with your energy, or you can become blocked and frustrated, right? Feeling like you're stuck and not getting anywhere because you're up in your mind looping around. And so what they're saying is take shelter within. Have your energy be clean, right? Clean and clear. We do that by not allowing our thoughts to loop, right? Rising above it and seeing the bigger picture, not buying into the lower vibrational collective consciousness and media that is spewing. And this is in all areas. This isn't just in regards to the storm, but it's also emotionally. Don't become so empathetic that you jump into the murky waters. You can stand on the shore and you can see and observe what's happening and be discerning. You can have compassion and want to help, and see another and understand where they are without attaching it to mean something about you or taking it on. It is not our responsibility to feel another's feelings. It's only our responsibility to own our own feelings. So when we keep our emotions clear, when we keep our mind clear, we keep our vessel clear, our body. This is our home, right? Your home is where the heart is. Your physical body is your vehicle. It's your car. It's also where you live. This is your home. The way you would take care of your home and your vehicle, you need to take care of your body. And if you think about it, your home and your car and the way that you treat that is really an outward manifestation of how you treat the insides, right? And all the work you want to do on your home is really all the work you need to be doing on your body as well. It's the inside always manifests on the outside in some way, shape, or form. So what they're saying is when you go within, the answers are there. They need to be clean, clear, and concise. And to do that, you need to keep your energy clean. You have to eat well. You need to drink lots of water. Make sure you're taking good supplements. You're moving your body. You're doing all the things that help you transmute the energy that you are taking in. Because you're at some point or another, you're going to take on somebody's energy or collect it or attach to it. And so we want to always be transmuting it, right? So think of it as a filter. We always want to be filtering it, keeping what needs to be kept, integrating it, and letting the rest drain away. And we do that through movement, through drinking water, through sweating, right? We do that through keeping our emotions and our mind clean and clear, okay? So I said, what happens when we do this? What's going to happen? How is this going to help us? And the transformation card up, which a lot of people have been feeling, and there's the Phoenix rising, right? A fresh new way of energy, a fresh new way of living emerges. It's fresh energy. And when you can learn to keep your body and your energy clean and clear and live in that higher vibrational state, a new way of living emerges, right? We understand that we are no longer here to be hustling and bustling and rushing and be under the control of a system, that we are only in control of our own being, and that we are here to have an experience. And that experience doesn't need to be fearful and anxious and exhausting. It can be light and fresh and fun if we choose it to be. And even in these darker times, like this storm that's approaching, we can choose to see this as something that's happening for us, right? It's gonna cleanse our community in a way that it needs to be. And it's gonna allow our peoples to come together and rise up and help each other in a way that they wouldn't normally, right? It's gonna allow for a sense of adventure, right? We're getting ready to evacuate and travel. We don't know where we're going, but if we trust our intuition and allow it to be a fun experience for our children, they're going to see that in hard times, we persevered by having fun and seeing the light side of things, and not being dragged down by the gloom and doom of what could be, right? So allow yourselves to rise above and see it as what it could be instead of what the dark collective wants you to think that it's going to be, right? And that goes for anything, with a business, with your family, with the place you work, right? Or your own mental state of being. So you can choose to have that fresh perspective, that lightness, or you can choose to let it be heavy and dark. That's up to you. But when we do the things that we're talking about to help you, this happens. You rise up from the ashes and a new way of living emerges. And so when that happens, we can now answer the call, right? Answer the call. The time is now. When we can do that, we can now answer the call. We can now lead the way from a space of, look, this is how it's supposed to be done. This is how we should be doing it. And you can do it your own way, but from that light beacon state, right? Where you are shining the way, you're leading by example. And this comes up a lot for me because I work with children sometimes, and Archangel Metatron will come through, and he will always say that our children are really the parents and these parents are the children, because our children become our mirrors, our reflection of what triggers us to heal us, right? But they're also wanting us to answer the call. They're wanting us to change our way of thinking and our way of being so that we can set the way for them in the future, so they don't have to go through all this work that we are having to transmute, that they can fluidly step in to this new way of being, right? So that's one part of why answering the call and lighting the way is so important. It's so important. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the fact that there could be 5 or 1,000 people teaching or guiding or doing the same thing. It's about unity, coming together and lighting the way and showing a brighter way of being, a lighter way of living, a higher consciousness and state, right? And so when we are in that space of leading by example, because it's not with, again, coming back to the children, it's never going to be, I'm telling you to do this, so you have to do that. Control will never win. Control only breeds more fear and uncertainty. When you lead with authority, when you lead by example, that is real change. That is embodiment. So we are here to light the way, and we do that by doing it ourselves, by embodying that truth, lighting up and saying, it's okay to be sad, to be angry, to have emotions, right? It doesn't mean we push it down and persevere and not deal with our own stuff, but it does mean that we need to do that internal processing, that we need to go within and find our answers and transmute that energy so we can become brighter and then turn around and lead the way from a clean state of being. Okay? And this is why I am surrounded by the blue rays, by the Pleiadians, by Christ, and by Mother Mary, because they are surrounding us all right now with love and saying, you can do this. This is for the greater good. Everything that is happening always is for you and not to you. And it's when you can change the way you see things, the way you see things change. For those of you who are on the East Coast and who are in the pathway of Florence, I say, don't be a hero. You can't save another until you've saved yourself. There's a reason why they tell you to put your oxygen in, Yeah, that's a good word. That's why they tell you on a plane to put your mask on first and then the neighbors, because you can't save enough people if you're dead, if you're not here, if you've perished. So don't try to stay and be a hero. No home, no job, nothing is more important than your being and your safety. And once you have gotten to that safe space and all the danger has cleared, then you can go back in and help save another and help rise your community up from the ashes. So please, when they ask you to evacuate, leave. I am Johanna Burkhart. I am the soul shaman, and today was a bit emotional for me as I allow the beings to step from me. I want to say thank you for all of you who subscribe and support, and I would love if you could share this message so that everybody can see it and we can rise together and help each other.